everyone, welcome. You're watching Global Lens on News9 Live with me, Neha. Khanna. As always, we have a packed show for you with all the top news stories from around the globe. Let's get started with our big focus. India has issued an advisory urging Indians to avoid travelling to Iran and Israel amid the rising tensions between those two countries. The Ministry of External Affairs today issued a statement saying, and I quote, "In view of the prevailing situation in the region, all Indians are advised not to travel to Iran or Israel till further notice. All those who are currently residing in Iran or Israel are requested to get in touch with Indian embassies there and register themselves. They are also requested to observe utmost precautions about their safety and restrict their movements to the minimum." All right, let's now turn our attention to the United Kingdom. It's a story that could have a direct impact on Indians. The United Kingdom has announced new visa rules aimed at tackling the immigration crisis in the country. The minimum income threshold required to sponsor a family member's visa in the UK has been increased as part of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's plans to cut down immigration levels, an area that has been a major priority for him and his government for a long time now. Effective immediately, the income benchmark has been increased from £18,600 to £29,000. That's an increase of more than 55%, with a subsequent increase to £38,700 slated for early next year. In a statement on Thursday, the UK government said, and I quote, "Today's change comes as the Home Secretary meets his commitment to implement his major package of reforms to the immigration system within weeks of announcing them, which came following the unveiling of measures to tighten the student visa route in May 2023. Immigration is one of the key poll issues ahead of general elections in the United Kingdom this year, with surveys indicating that Rishi Sunak's party, the Conservatives, is heading for a drubbing. The new regulations are part of Sunak's plan to cut unsustainable and unfair levels of migration and ensure those arriving in the UK do not burden the taxpayers. That's what the government has been saying. UK's Interior Minister James Cleverly, explaining the rationale behind the latest policy change, said it is important to mitigate the strains posed by mass migration. He said, "We've reached a tipping point with mass migration. There is no simple solution or easy decision which cuts numbers to levels acceptable to the British people." James Cleverly stressed the UK government's commitment to safeguarding British workers and wages while ensuring that those relocating to the United Kingdom do not become reliant on public funds. Now, the revised income requirement seeks to ensure that families seeking to reunite in the UK show self-sufficiency, with provisions allowing for various means of meeting the threshold, including savings from income and employment. Cleverly added, "I promised action and we have delivered at remarkable speed. We've acted to cut unsustainable numbers, to protect British workers and their wages, to ensure that those bringing family to the UK do not burden taxpayers, and to build an immigration system fit for the future and one the public can rightly have confidence in." In addition to the alterations in income thresholds, the United Kingdom government has also implemented stringent regulations on student visas alongside a substantial 66% escalation in the health surcharge for foreign nationals accessing the National Health Service or NHS. With current immigration figures hovering at around 745,000, the UK government aims to cut it down to 300,000. Now, the new visa regime is causing considerable concern among Indian migrants. That's because, as per the revised rules, those who earn less than £29,000 will not be able to sponsor a family member's visa in the UK. Remember, Indians represent a significant portion of non-EU immigration into the UK, with substantial numbers arriving for study-related purposes. The surge in visas granted to dependents from India and Nigeria underscores the growing trend of family migration within these communities. Indians have also consistently ranked among the top beneficiaries of skilled work visas, with a notable increase observed in the skilled worker health and care category. The number of such visas issued to Indians saw a 63% hike from 13,380 in 2021-22 to 21,837 in 2022-23. The annual earnings of nearly 50% of people who migrated to the UK from India was less than £39,000 in 2022, according to a report by the Migration Observatory at the University of Oxford. UK Home Office data shows that Indian nationals represented 38% of all dependents who were issued a work visa, alongside main applicants, followed by Nigerian and Zimbabwean nationals at 17% and 9% respectively. Our next story is from the United States of America, and it's about a man who captured the imagination of not just all of the United States, but indeed the entire world, and for all the wrong reasons back in the 1990s. O.J. Simpson has died of prostate cancer at the age of 76. The American football star and actor was acquitted in a sensational 1995 trial of murdering his former wife, but was found responsible for her death in a civil lawsuit and was later imprisoned for armed robbery and kidnapping. Simpson's life was marked by glory on the field, but overshadowed by infamy off it. While his achievements in sports and entertainment are notable, it is the courtroom drama that unfolded in the mid-1990s that left a mark on American culture and judiciary. Simpson's involvement in what became known as the trial of the century began with the tragic discovery of his former wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman, brutally murdered outside her Los Angeles home in June 1994. The ensuing investigation thrust Simpson into the spotlight as the prime suspect. The events that followed, including Simpson's attempt to evade law enforcement in a televised car chase and his subsequent arrest, captured America's and indeed the world's attention like never before. The subsequent murder trial, which commenced in January 1995, pitted the prosecution's case against Simpson's defense, with racial tensions simmering beneath the surface. Many say the impression that O.J. Simpson's all-consuming trial had on shaping the modern media environment cannot be overstated. From the moment Simpson led the police on a low-speed chase down a Los Angeles freeway after being charged with the twin murders, the media landscape was never the same again, and certainly not in the United States. The trial in 1995 drew astonishing audience interest, with an unprecedented 150 million people tuning in on the 3rd of October to watch the stunning verdict delivered live on television. The extraordinary attention the case generated helped launch the careers of a generation of household media stars in the US. The trial was also a milestone for the use of live TV cameras in the courtroom, transforming a typically close to the public process of justice into a cultural and entertainment spectacle that is still widely known, as we said, as the trial of the century. Judge Lance Ito's decision still resonates to this day, with judges often criticizing the circus atmosphere created by the trial as they weigh whether to allow the public to view such proceedings. Some also argue that the most consequential effects the O.J. Simpson trial had on American life were far broader. The trial gave way to a media landscape dominated by salacious reality television and talking head-driven cable news. The trial served as the first major reality television show to hypnotize America, giving way in later years to a number of programs aimed at capitalizing off unscripted high drama.